I started out just actually not being in business. I started just working at what I like to call like dead-end jobs, doing things from being a barista to being a stock boy, moving stuff for furniture companies that are painting. Like if you told me name all the stuff that you think about that people have done, all kinds of jobs, I've most likely done it before I got into business. Before Dan's mentoring, I would say I was in a dark kind of place, because at the time when I was working at dead-end job from the very beginning, I was still very young. I went from high school. In high school, I was already working jobs, and I went into college to do business. I wanted to get into business, but what ended up happening was a professor that I learned from, these professors in college, they didn't really have the business experience or knowledge, and they couldn't teach me much. So I dropped out of school from that, and I continued just working jobs and hustling. And then one day I decided to, within the span of a year, 2 years, I decided to go to an internet marketing meetup, just out of the blue, like no plans whatsoever. I was like, hey, this is a Chinese guy, very successful entrepreneur, let's go meet him, let's go see what he did. I went there, and I would say it's actually one of the best decisions I ever made, looking back at it. When I was going through that phase of getting out of high school and working at all these different jobs, when I talked about earlier with being in a dark place, what I meant was like, while I was working at those jobs, from a background history, like my family isn't very rich or anything, or even middle class. They're actually poor to middle class. So I came here from Taiwan just with my mom, and I would have to support her. A lot of things that we struggled with paying the bills. And so that's why I was working right out of high school. And I was also not as financially literate as I am now, and smart about my money. So back then I was also in really deep debt. And so I had to get out of credit card debt. I had just a lot of stress, a lot of, the biggest thing actually for me was when from my mom, because, you know, it's fine for me if I'm kind of not, how do I say it, like, if I'm struggling, but I wouldn't want my mom and my family to struggle. So that's why I had to work harder, I had to pay back my debt. But at that time, like, it was in a dark place, and Dan gave me the opportunity and to start going into business, giving me that chance that I needed. And thinking about it, I still recall the day that I first talked to him on the phone. I was extremely nervous, but it was, from then on, it was definitely, he helped me quite a bit. The main reason that I actually chose Dan as a mentor is just, I felt like his story when he was presenting, the first time I ever met him at the Internet Masterminds meetup, his story about him coming from Taiwan and his mom and just the whole background of how he grew up, being bullied in school and also going through that. I really resonate with that, because parts of the story, also just being a first-generation immigrant to Canada, it really resonated with my own story. I felt that he was where I wanted to be, and at that point I didn't really have anybody to turn to in business, because I was just a kid. I had no experience, no knowledge, like almost nothing. I was actually not even starting from the middle end. I was behind all the people almost in my own age range, and even people that are older than me. And Dan definitely, gave me a good opportunity to start, which I'm still extremely grateful for. The biggest fear, I would say, it was not about what I thought about Dan. It was mainly about the money, because that time I was already in debt, and I was kind of doing some quote-unquote mobile apps for companies and stuff, but I didn't really have the money actually, so I had to get into more debt to start it. But it was really a do or die. Like at that point, at that time, it was do or die for me. But looking back on hindsight on it, it was definitely the greatest decision I've ever made in my, like, so far up to my, the state of the career right now. Yeah, the experience with Dan for mentorship, I think ever since we started from the very beginning, it's been very, words cannot kind of describe the experience that I went through. Just because the journey going from that point where I was in a very low spot and going through it, he's helped me just transform myself from nothing to, I would say, quote unquote, a decently successful business person with skills and mindset and all the foundations that I need to grow further as an entrepreneur. But there's the emotional benefits that he helped me with. The insecurities that I had back then helped me transform it all and really the biggest thing that I got out of it to date from bringing me from that dark place to now is really the mindset that he's helped me with and the emotions that I went through at that time. I would have to say it's life-changing. Definitely a life-changing thing. Throughout my entire life, this is out of the 2 experiences I've had, this is working with Dan, him mentoring me, him taking me under his wing has definitely been the most life-changing, one of the top 2 life-changing moments in my life. When we talk, he always calls me like a blank piece of paper, which I was when I was a kid. I had nothing, no experience in anything. So he was able to instill in me and craft me in a way in which I would be, let's say, focused on, for example, copywriting. I can recall off the top of my head, it was the first foundation that he laid for me. He told me to start training in it, learning in it. It's what he started out with. And it's provided a lot of deep insights for it because copywriting, it's so much more depth than what when you really get into it. And it lays the foundation for how people think, how you understand other people think. Another second thing I would say is communication. I really struggled with communication before, even like right now I'm speaking with you. Like I would not be able to kind of communicate like this. I would be nervous, I'd probably be sweating, and I would not be able to capture the right kind of words to communicate with people. That's definitely a big thing. Even just communicating in public as well. Just talking with people at events, not even on the stage. Third thing is he's helped me get started in business, leveraging his connections and his people that he works with and other mentees that he has. And from me not having any skills or any prior experience and giving me another opportunity again to work with those people to hone my skills like copywriting, doing digital marketing, which is what I'm doing now, and advanced sales funnels. It's really helped me take step by step progressively to become skilled at it. I wouldn't call myself a master, but yeah. Going it back from if you listen to the story from being a kid all the way till now, I would say it's been a huge change because I guess the best way to explain it, from a place where I had in debt, I was struggling financially, emotionally, I had problems communicating, I had a lot of stress and no connections and just no business acumen, no business knowledge and experience, to now where I'm actually working with some of the top internet marketing people in the world. And right now on a monthly basis, doing negative is now doing like about 6 figures and potentially on track to hit 7 figures. And this is just to give you some context, within a span of 2 years. So, it's extremely fast growth for me, and that's where I'm at now. Yeah, working with companies from different levels. Let's say like working with companies that are doing at bare minimum $1 million, and between the sweet spot, the companies I normally work with now is $10 to $100 million. So it's a big jump from where I was starting out with Dan to where I am now. Working with some of the top internet marketing people like Russell Brunson, people like Neil Patel, and some of these top internet marketing people that I partner with to work with, leverage them, and also work with the companies that they work with as well, which again is giving me great experience, great knowledge, and definitely a big financial gain compared to where I was before. My most favorite part of Dan Lok Inner Circle is that it's really the people around it. I feel like a lot of the stuff that is learned by me, or as I learn, is not the things that are directly said, but things that are more not said. It's more indirect things that happen when we're in the mastermind in these events and people are sharing their stories, sharing their problems in the business and everything. It gives me context into different industries, and also building a relationship with everybody else in the group, because some of the best partnerships I've ever had, or even the friendships right now, which really means a lot to me, the friendships is within this group. And it's definitely helped me with a lot of things in my personal life as well, just connecting with these people, highly successful people in the group, very experienced across all kinds of different industries. And just, surrounding yourself with people that are smarter, more successful, more experienced, more knowledgeable than you are. I think that's the most important thing. I mean, if you've been watching this video and you've been listening up to this point, I would really say, from my personal, I might be biased, but if you can hear my story from where I started to where I am now, I really dedicate all of that to Dan. I wouldn't be where I am today without Dan. Because especially, like, I know that for a fact. So if you're watching this, whether your business is, let's say, in wherever it is, just Dan has so much depth. Just the other day I was telling someone else that, you know, at an event that Dan was speaking in public, at an event, sharing with his knowledge, it's only like probably 1% or less than that of what he knows. So for me, I probably understand 5, maybe 10% of what Dan knows from his experience, his success, and the partners that he's working with. And the reason why I say this, and probably why you're wondering, it's just because whether you're at whatever level, you're just starting out, you're making 100,000 or you're already doing $1 million or more, I really believe that Dan can give you the breakthrough that you need. Just like he gave me and all the other successful entrepreneurs that are in the group the breakthroughs that they've had and continue to experience on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Dan Luck Inner Circle has been a high-level, completely transformational experience for myself. Looking back on my story, as you've heard, and I highly recommend Dan Luck Inner Circle to you. It's the best decision that I've ever made in my life. I mean, think about the question I want you to ponder as you're watching this is, what is it costing you right now in your business with the struggling or the problems or things that you might be holding you back by not joining and being surrounded by a group of very high-level entrepreneurs, experience, knowledge, and wisdom all around? What is that costing you? That's the question I want to leave with you. And I look forward to seeing you in the Dan Luck Inner Circle.